And I think that part of the answer could be that fashion is not important. Like the things that we're told that are important, like the advertisements that we get, or like whatever comes through the pipeline, like from New York Fashion Week and London Fashion Week, and like this is what's popular and this is what the Kardashians are wearing, so this is what you should wear. Like, I think that's not important, actually.
Fashion and clothing is a universal language that we all speak. But what is it that compels a person to wear what they wear? Might it be instinct, necessity, even experimentation? We're all looking for ourselves somewhere beyond the thread.
I just really like to create. I think it's a fun thing to do. I think we're meant to be here to create. I feel like every day we live changing out our outfits, and we change our aspect of how we act, you know? How we look is how we feel. We look good, we feel good. So I think how we dress is how we act sometimes. So it's a little bit of a representation of our inner personalities.
Like, what is clothing to you? Like, what does that mean to you?
So a couple things come to mind at first. Like, clothing is utilitarian, it has to be practical, it's what protects us from the elements. But beyond that, which it is far beyond that, it's how we express our character. And we utilize that in costume design when we're creating characters, and we're utilizing that every day when we're choosing the clothes that we're wearing. In short, yeah, that's it. That's what clothing is. It's how you express who you are and how you choose to express yourself to the world.
I think caring about where our clothing comes from and not just over consuming and really cultivating things that you really, really love instead of following a trend and being like, well, I don't really like this, but everyone else is wearing it and I want to do that. I think really leaning into, no, I put this on, I feel amazing in this, and I don't care what anybody else thinks.
My only advice would be, if you're interested in something, try not to think about it like it's through someone else's gaze, Try to think about how you look walking down the street, more about how you feel walking down the street, and, what you wear, how you express yourself is totally up to you, and isn't necessarily for anyone else, but it's just for yourself.
The clothes we wear and how we choose to present ourselves is the purest form of self-identification. But what aspects of our lives decide how we want to portray ourselves? Some might say it's their environment, surroundings, or even the media we take in. Or maybe it's all these things.
This is the first prototype for the rugged work tee. This kind of reminded me of like what my dad used to wear a lot. He was an engineer for what was Bell South, and now it's AT&T. I don't know what that's all about, but he'd always have like a gray work shirt with the AT&T logo on it, and the back isn't sewn in yet, but it's gonna be that patch that we just saw, and that's like the first work tee prototype. My environment at home, I didn't really figure out my own style till about like mid-high school. So growing up, which was probably like 14 years of my life right there, that's a big chunk. That's a big like growing area of life. That's where like I learned my style, that's where I learned this and that, and the biggest influence I had were the people around me. So it's my mom, my dad, and my dad was one of my biggest influences, being the biggest male figure in my life at that point. And he was always at work most of the time. You know, so when I'd see him, he'd be coming home from his work clothes. He'd always have like a rugged, dirty work t-shirt and like some work khakis and some boots. And it would look dirty to me and it would look like a work shirt to me, but to him it was the outfit he was wearing every day he'd go to work. It was the character he was playing every day when he put it on, you know? And so later on in life I started realizing what the clothes meant to him, and it started making me realize what clothes meant to me and my perspective. So my father was probably one of my biggest inspirations, and that is something that was a big block of what makes me that was a big block of what builds fashion for me, was my father.
It wasn't really about fashion until I got older, but it was more about music. And sometimes going to the quarter, I wasn't really thinking about these things consciously, but now that I'm older, I definitely go and I look through and I like see all the different types of people and how they intermix, and the how it like affects me and how it's like made me who I am. And I think it's interesting. I love going back to New Orleans. Try to go back to the French Quarter as often as I can.
I think the point I want to make is it's influenced by what you choose to take in. Like, especially social media, like we curate our own feeds, and then like whatever we're liking is generating the algorithm of what ads it's showing us. And like I get ads all the time for things I like, but it's because I liked the other things or because I clicked on the other things. That's something I think is really fascinating and individualized, but like targeted individually. And I'm curious to see how that's going to evolve, because it wasn't always like that, you know? Like we used to have the choice of like, well, what culture are you watching, what shows, what movies, what magazines you're reading, what books you're reading. But with social media, you're curating it even closer to like what people are you following, like what ads are targeted specifically towards you.
People are naturally going to be influenced by their surroundings, but we can still wear whatever we want to wear and be whoever we want to be. And this is great, but does fashion really serve any greater purpose than merely self-expression? I mean, what can fashion and clothing possibly do for the greater good of humanity? Isn't it just clothes at the end of the day?
I'd say anyone who's just like interested in it, like likes, fits, fashion, you know, maybe looks at it on social media but never really like gets into it. I'd say you don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, I feel like right now it's really popular to whoever has the most expensive pair of shoes on, you know. It's not always about that. You know, if that's what you're into, that's totally cool. But it doesn't always have to be about the money. It doesn't have to be about what's popular right now. It's really just about how you feel that day. You know, when you wake up, roll out of bed, you're like, what am I feeling? What am I comfortable in? How do I want other people to perceive me? How do I want to look at myself, and how do I want to feel about myself in the morning?
If you feel good, you're ultimately gonna put out a confidence. You're gonna put out a good energy, and other people can see that. Other people can feel that. If you're wearing something that doesn't really fit you, you're just wearing it because it fits in with other people, you're gonna be like closed in. You're not gonna be yourself. But if you're wearing something that is you, you're gonna be you, and other people that you want to like you or that enjoy you are gonna enjoy you. So as long as you're pushing out you got nothing to worry about.
How can fashion help us grow as people? I think it can go in two ways. I think it could not. I think if you get wrapped up in like, I have to participate in every trend, I have to have everything that comes out, I have to keep up with what is being sold to me as cool, like in magazines or on TV or in movies or on TikTok or wherever you're looking to think like, oh, that I see all of that, so that's cool, so I want to replicate that. It's easy to get caught up in that, because I can too, like everything that comes out that's new, that's cool, I want that. But the other side of the question is like, how can it help us to grow? Like, you can invent yourself and you can reinvent yourself. Like, you can wear this for a while and you can decide to change it and you can wear something else. Like, to a certain extent, like, you can change your body, you can change the features of your body by working out or plastic surgery or whatever, but it's easier to just change what you wear. Like, that's something that's pretty accessible. well, it's limited, I guess, by what you can afford and what you have time for and what you know how to do too. But you can shop at thrift stores, you can buy fabric when it's on sale, you can make shapes that are simple, and you can evolve your look as you want to evolve it. Like, you can choose to express yourself one way one day and then choose to change it up and express yourself a different way. And so you don't have to be stuck in one thing, and the clothes that you wear can help to express that in different ways.
Every one of us make up a part of the team or the family or whatever you want to call it that we are as a human species. And I think that we need to realize that we need to love each other more. We need to stop being judgmental, especially with fashion. Fashion's like a gateway to judgment. It's like if you don't know somebody and you don't like what they wear, instant preface of negativity you're putting towards somebody else, and there's no need for that. Fashion is, I guess that's one thing that people should know about fashion, is that wear what you want to wear, and people can wear what they want to wear. If you see something you don't like, maybe think that they might like it and it makes them happy. So love one another, be happy, stay true to yourself. That's about it.
So that's it. What does fashion and clothing do for the greater good of humanity? Well, it provides an outlet. And if you don't care about fashion, you don't have to. While fashion and the clothes we wear are shared universally, it's an individual experience at the end of the day. It's not about the other people or fitting a mold. It's about you. It's about defining who you are and being content with that character. And if you aren't, you can always evolve into something else. That's the beauty of it. So, sometimes to find ourselves, we have to search someplace like no other. Someplace far beyond the thread.